Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren if you're new here, and if you're not new, you're the best for coming back. Thank you. Today I'm so excited because we're talking about one of my favorite brands and a new palette that they just released that I cannot wait to get my fingers in because it's just, So what are we talking about today? We are talking about Give Me Glow's newest palette, which is the Haunted Pumpkin palette. And yeah, it's definitely pumpkin themed. So here's what the inside of it looks. I love that every single one of the pans is embossed with a pumpkin, an angry pumpkin. I freaking love this theme. I think it is the perfect color story for fall, and yeah, I'm really excited to play with it. But let's talk a little bit about this palette, how much it costs, the controversy around it. It's not really controversy, but look, this is very clearly a Halloween palette, right? I mean, it screams fall, it screams Halloween, but this palette actually wasn't launched until Black Friday, so missing Halloween by a little bit, right? Now, I don't have a problem with that. I understand that during this time period, there's been a lot of production issues with companies, a lot of issues getting the inventory they need to produce palettes like this. So it wasn't a big deal to me. I mean, I would literally buy anything Give Me Glow puts out, so it doesn't even matter. They could have brought this out in spring and I still would have bought it. I did see a lot of comments on Instagram where people were like, I don't understand why that's coming out now. That's definitely a Halloween palette. Like, people were upset that this didn't come out a little before Halloween. Maybe that's because they just wanted it. They wanted to use it for Halloween. But honestly, it does not matter because it's Give Me Glow and their formula is fantastic. So I don't understand why people were so upset. Like, things happen, okay? They probably meant for this palette to come out earlier than it did. And just things come up. Things come up, right? Especially during this time in the world. It's kind of a crazy time to be alive, if I do say so myself. So this palette is $45. It is currently still available on their website if you're interested in picking it up. I do have it linked below. None of my links are affiliated, so they're just for you in case you're curious about anything. And what do you get? What do you get in this palette? So you're getting 3 shimmers and 7 mattes, and that's the one thing that was a little disappointing to me. I do wish there were more shimmers in here because their shimmer formula is fantastic. But you know what? I will take what I can get from them, and like, seriously. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to do some swatches, of course, and then we're going to just do a look, and we're just going to play with it and have fun. And this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I just want to give this spotlight. I was just so excited for it, and it's a beautiful palette, and I'm excited. So let's get into swatches, and then let's get into the look. Okay, we are going to do some swatches. We're gonna just go straight across and then go down. Luckily, this is a pretty small palette, so it should all fit on my arm. But yeah, let's get into this. So this one is Starless and Somber. Next up, Do Not Carve. Pumpkin Possession. Oh, yes. And Rotten. It's kind of funny that Rotten is blue. And Hail to the Pumpkin King finishes off that first row. So far, these seem like they're all very pigmented. Okay, next row. Do You Hear That? Midnight Mist. Follow My Shadow. Moon Magic. And Urban Legend. Oof. It's the palette that we're going to be playing with today. Definitely has a pumpkin theme, I would say. I can safely say feels very October-y, very pumpkin-y. Okay, let's get into the look. Went ahead and I primed my eye. Today we're using my MAC paint pot in Bare Study. This is a classic, and it's got quite a little dip in it, and I'm pretty proud of that. So one day maybe I'll finish the whole thing in like 5 years. These things last forever. They're great. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just going to, I don't know, go into this. I thought the swatches were beautiful. I didn't think I could go wrong with anything, you know, but I feel like we do need to do something orangey. So I think what I want to start with is Starless and Somber. I'm gonna put that all over my upper lid, and I'm worried it might be a little dark, but we're gonna see. We're gonna just play with it. I personally really like orange. I feel orange works really well with my eye color. I feel like it makes blues pop quite a bit. So when they came out with this palette, I was like, oh yes, I am down. I am down for the oranginess, down for the pumpkin theme. God, I am a sucker for a fall palette. Okay, so this is kind of a burnt orange, but what's nice is that it's blending out really well so that if you go in with a lighter hand, you don't need to worry about, you know, it looking too dark if you are as pale as I am. Okay, next, what are we gonna do? Okay, let's go into Hail to the Pumpkin King and kind of put that in the outer corner. They did say on the website that this is a pressed pigment, which means it's definitely likely to stain your lids. So just keep that in mind. I'm glad they put that disclaimer because it's always a little alarming when you use something and you wake up the next morning and you're like, my eyes are still bright pink. What is happening? I feel like the bright colors like that normally stain my eyelids. But I mean, I don't really have a problem with that because I use makeup like every day, so it's not really a big issue to me, but I'm glad that they warn people just in case you might not know. Okay, another beautiful brownie orange. Very pretty. I'm just kind of tapping it on pretty lightly, but it's building really nice, which we love to see. I have no follow. Also love to see that. Okay, do we want to do something different? Do we want to do green? I don't know. Yeah, I think we do. Okay, so we're gonna go in with Midnight Mist. I'm gonna put that on the rest of my lid and see how that looks. The one palette that I didn't pick up this year was the newest one from Natasha Denona because I didn't think I'd love it. I didn't think I'd love it, and it had, oh, that green went on so nice. And it had like a lot of greens, but it just seemed a little bit too pastel-y for my liking. So this is the kind of green that I like, where it's a light green. I call this like a sage green, but it's so pigmented. Like it can be pigmented and it can still be a lighter green, you know? Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. Oh, okay. That's gorgeous. Okay, I think what I want to do, darken the look a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Do Not Carve, which is this deep brown color, and we are going to put it into the outer ends of my eye and kind of just fluff it out. So I'm just putting a little bit on a brush and I'm going to apply this very lightly. I tend to go in with a heavy hand of all my shadows, and when I'm doing something where I'm trying to darken the look, I have to remind myself, no, light hand, Lauren, light hand. Okay, so I kind of patted it on and now I'm blending it in. So it's just creating a little more dimension, the outer corner of my eye. And I feel like even though we use two oranges, got a brown and a green, it doesn't look Halloween-y, right? It looks like fall, which I like, but it's not too much, which I really appreciate. Okay, next what I think we have to do, it's hard for me to choose from these shimmers because their shimmer formula is out of this world. It is just, it's phenomenal. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Urban Legend. I'm gonna just put a little bit of that on my finger and I'm going to dab it into the middle of this look, kind of in between the green and the brown, kind of bringing it all together. Oh, look at that formula, their shimmer formula is just, leaves me speechless. I have no words for how beautiful that shimmer formula is. Okay, last but not least, I do want to put something underneath my waterline. I think we're going to go back into Starless and Somber. That was just a really pretty color. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that underneath my waterline. To add a little bit of dimension. And because I wanted to orange it up a little bit. Ugh, my contact is sticking. Oh. Okay, you know what? I think what I want to do, I'm going to buff this out just a little bit more. I feel like you can never blend too much. No one has ever said, oh, well, okay, that's a lie. I've definitely watched YouTube videos where sometimes you can blend stuff into oblivion. But in this case, we're just blending it a little bit. Ugh, so pretty. Okay, so pretty. I think this is all I want to do. I have to go to the grocery store after this, so I'm expecting to get some looks of people appreciating my look. But let's go ahead and do the other eye. I'm going to go ahead and put on mascara and eyeliner just to make the look really pop, pull it together, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about my final thoughts. Okay, final look. What do we think? I'm a fan. I am a huge fan. Now, I always want to admit when I have a personal bias towards a brand, and I do have a personal bias towards this brand, in that I love it. I love it. But I'm always going to be honest with you if I think the formula is different, if something is maybe not my favorite. But with this palette, I feel like it is definitely the Give Me Glow formula that I know and love, and it consistently holds up to what the brand normally puts out, which is just quality stuff, really quality stuff. This look, I feel like, is a great fall look. It's a great winter look. It's kind of just a great look. I don't feel like it was anything over the top. And I do feel like this palette gives you the opportunity to do something a little bit brighter. You have the bright orange down here. You have the bright blue. You have this beautiful shimmer in the corner that we could have pulled out to make a brighter look. But today, I really wanted to aim for a fall look. And I feel like we accomplished that really, really well with this palette. There was no fallout with any of these shadows. So I can't guarantee and say none of the shadows have fallout because I haven't used every single one in the palette yet, but the ones that I used, I did not experience any fallout, which, yeah, it's pretty impressive, I will say. Now, for $45, you're getting 10 pans, which for me seems like a little bit expensive, except that these pans are massive. You're getting quite a bit of product in these pans. So personally for me, I would say that it is worth that price tag, especially just because it just works so well. This is one of those brands where I feel like the mattes and the shimmers are both absolutely beautiful. I mean, there are a lot of indie brands that I know and love, and I definitely prefer their shimmers. They have great shimmer formulas, but their mattes, you can take it or leave it. Here, the mattes are absolutely stunning. They work so well. I didn't experience any patchiness. They just blended out beautifully, and they mix really well with all the other colors that I picked up. So there's no sort of muddiness when I started layering them on top of each other. Overall, a great palette. Overall, I feel like it fits a lot of seasons, though. It is definitely a more fall color story, I will say. But there's enough neutrality in this palette that you can kind of use it whenever you want. And yeah, the shimmers are gorgeous. So I'm especially excited to use Did You Hear That? Because that looks like just a gorgeous shimmer. And I want to put it on my face at some point. So really excited with how all the shadows performed. Really excited that this gorgeous sage green was just such a beautiful green. Yeah, I'm a lover of green. So when I find a good one, I want to talk about it for a long time. Overall, I can't recommend Give Me Glow's eyeshadow enough. I just think they have a beautiful formula. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm an itty bitty channel. I just love them. And I love talking about the makeup that I love. So I would love to hear if you ended up picking up this palette, what your favorite item from Give Me Glow is, if you have one, or if you're gonna check them out now, because I highly recommend them if you haven't already. I gotta go to the grocery store. I will see you all in the next video, and I hope you're having an amazing week. Bye!